So the magic that has been around producing Time of the Sixth Sun must be huge, because that's the nature of the content is magical and it's profound. So how you were led to interview certain people and what you were privy to and all of that is like, oh, it's going to be fascinating to...
Yeah, we didn't really have a shot list. We didn't have a list of speakers. As I met people or heard about people, if they came into my sphere or frame of reference, I would, on the second or third meeting or reading about them, I'd know that I was meant to go and ask them if they would interview with me. So everything has flowed like that. And
let's check over.
Meeting is now streaming live on Facebook.
Oh, fantastic. Hello into Chi Time Live. Welcome in this afternoon. If you're listening live, we'd love to know if you're there. Do let us know. Send us some love or send us some comments. If you're listening on replay, do the hashtag replay thing, and we'll still send you some love and get into the comments then, because I do understand that on a Monday afternoon it's not terrifically sensible time, but think of it as like an afternoon radio show where you'd have it on anyway, wouldn't you? But now this is actually a video radio show. How does that work? But anyway, you're all very, very welcome in. And as you can see, I have Nikki Luna with me here, the director of Time of the Sixth Sun, that phenomenal movie and docuseries that has been, it's been around in our hearts and our souls for pretty much a year now, hasn't it, Nikki?
It has, yes. In fact, it was last April, so we're about 11 months. April 24th, we launched it.
Was it? Gosh, it is nearly a year.
Yeah, it is.
Well, when I first came across the movie, it's because that you put out a lot of amazing content, and I just picked up on it and resonated immediately, and was so grateful for the wisdom coming through, and the spectacular images that you're choosing too. I mean, it's so sumptuous, the whole footage that's going on of the landscapes. It feels like to me most of it's shot in nature, isn't it?
I did try to shoot most of it outside. Yeah.
Yeah. And we did actually get together in November when you relaunched it, and we had Teo on as well. And if anybody's interested in hopping over to the YouTube of Clara Apollo's Chi Time, you'll see the whole interview there, which is more about the content of the video. Video of the film and the docu-series. And I really wanted to step in and have a chat with you now, Nikki Luna, around where it's all going now, because you've recently got a new platform happening, and there's so much I want to ask. So let's talk about the new platform first, because that happened just last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, we launched it last Tuesday, and Teo's been beavering away for the last 6 to 8 weeks. And we have built a VOD platform, video on demand, and we really wanted it. We can't afford to give it away for free, but we wanted it to reach as many people as possible so they get to view it. So for $4.95, you can now view the movie. And we're also making the full digital package available, which is incredible value. We've reduced it in price, and it has the movie, 14 other films, 8 from the documentary series, and another 6 films which are bonuses. And then there's a beautiful photographic book of all the shots from our stills from our shoots, with awakening quotes from the wisdom keepers, and a amazing double album.
I know.
And then all the transcripts. So yeah, it's a big package. Wow.
I know. My lovely friend Lynn lent me this because I so needed to listen to that music again. And we're going to play some when you listen to this on UK Health Radio. We're going to play some of the Estas Tonne and Jeffrey Hoppe tracks. But here on the live, here on the Book of Faces, we're just going to carry on with what we have got going here. And I would just like to read some of the feedback that has come, because you were saying that over 240,000 people watched that first launch, didn't they? I mean,
There were two launches, 12 days each, one in April and one in November. And over those 24 days of it being online, we had over 240,000 views, which is phenomenal. We were thrilled.
But it really is. It's this heart-led energy that comes through that, and it's something that I think you were saying that it's really stayed with me, Luna, is that you know, when you speak the truth, people recognize it because there's no manipulation there. There is no trying to sell anything. They just speak the truth, and that frequency resonates with your heart. And so you get it.
I call it a transmission, and I was really conscious of that from the very beginning, that I wanted to see if the transmission that's carried by the wisdom keepers was able to be received through the screen. And it absolutely does. When we hear truth, we know it. When we hear that genuine transmission, we know it.
Yeah, we do. And that,
I think that's what's grabbed the attention of so many people. It has this quality of the heart that's so beautiful. And so you were going to read out later some of the testimonials, but
I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it now because we're talking about it. So Simon King, this is a testimonial that is on the new website, timeofthesixthsunmovie.com. He says that to say that Time of the Sixth Sun is a work of art is an understatement. It is much more. It is a work of heart. With interviews from across the globe, from scientists, seekers and shaman, this movie and docuseries will open your minds and, more importantly, your hearts to the global awakening that can no longer be ignored. Time of the Sixth Sun shows you what the possibilities are if we all come together as one. Boom! I mean, like, yes, absolutely.
And what's happening right now? I mean, I don't think we've ever been as unified as we are now. I don't even think war brought us together in the same way. So we shouldn't be surprised. We've been calling this in for a very long time. We've been asking for this shift in consciousness. Boom, there it is. So we need to deal with that now. And it's unifying us incredibly.
It is. And you know, it's a case of when is this happening? Is it going to happen gradually? And I think we've been edging our way forwards. I mean, you started making this film like quite a few years ago, didn't you? You heard the call.
11 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it was longer than that, but I took a 3-year break. I had an autoimmune condition, so I had to put the film on the back burner and just deal with my own healing. So 2004 was when we actually first started, and we got an email that was a call from the Otomi elders in Mexico, asking people from all around the world to participate in fulfilling a 500-year-old prophecy. So we had beautiful soul put some seed funding in, and literally 2 weeks later we were out there with 4 of us, small crew, and
Wow. So yeah, it absolutely stunning. I mean, the depth that you go into with the conversations, and then of course the drawing together, and we do talk about this on the other interview, like how do you do that, but we know you are like a complete artist when it comes to the crafting of the material that you've so definitely get.
Oh, and my editor.
Yes, okay.
My cameraman and editor is,
yeah,
big thanks to Ben Cole.
Beautiful team that you have going on there.
Yeah.
But now we find ourselves in a like an escalation of awakening. I'm feeling this, that really ramping up now. I think the year 2020 was a big sign. It's like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen this year, because that's the year of visioning. This is the year to bring our visions forwards. And a lot of us have been holding the vision for a new earth and a new way of working with the heart, and the old ways falling away, which is why I think the resonance with Time of the Sixth Sun is so huge, because the wisdom of the indigenous elders and the wisdom keepers makes utter sense to us. And it's kind of what we're missing from our culture. And do you think that is why we love to watch this film, because it gives us something back, something that we've had that's missing?
Yeah, I think we're so fed up with spin and political diatribe. And I think people just want more. They want more depth in their lives. People, I think, are hugely waking up across the world. Yes. And realizing that there's got to be another way to live, another way to walk more quietly on the earth.
But it's where to look for the guidance, isn't it? If we don't have an indigenous culture in the UK as prevalent as the Native Americans or other shamanic communities, where do we look? And we have had Mac McCartney on very recently, and he's done a lot of research on that, and he's part of Time of the Sixth Sun as well, of course. And, you know, it just blows me away that he's found out all this information about the indigenous cultures of the UK and how it was wiped out by the Romans, and how we're holding this soul wound and as a culture. And this is the last vestige of this is going now, because that's not our truth. Our truth as a community is so much richer than that, and it's time to reclaim that. And I think that's what this calling of the Rainbow Tribe and the time of the Sixth Sun is bringing through right now for us. So I wonder how many people have seen this already. I mean, you've got your 240,000, but I bet there's way more than that.
Well, we have a Facebook page that has over 40,000 people on it, and an active Facebook group, and who we interact with as much as we can, which is about just around 29,000. Yeah, obviously they're not all on at the same time.
No, but there was something that that you were saying at the time, that it was just, there was such an increase of people sharing and doing it. I mean, didn't the system crash at one point as well? It was like, oh my
it did. When we very first put it up, it was a bit of an overload, but our tech wizard Teo sorted it out.
Oh, tech wizard Teo, we love him. Absolutely. But that, you coined a new phrase, and this was before this current viral situation is going on here at the moment, but the way that it was spreading, time the Sixth Sun vibe was spreading, go on, tell us about it.
It's just interesting. I mean, now everyone in the world understands about how something goes viral, how 3 people can pass something on to 400 people in a very short amount of time. Mm-hmm. And we know that is going viral. So we really want to ask all our ambassadors, everyone who has either watched the film or is going to go on and watch it, the biggest way that you can help us is to share it and send it viral. But then we decided that was a bit of a, maybe we shouldn't say viral, so we're going to send it spiral out around the world.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, send it spiral.
Yes, and it's spiraling, and but also that the energy of the spiral is you come round again, but it's never quite the same. Yep. And I've been loving watching it again as well, and seeing different things and coming through, because we're at different stages of our lives when we watch films again, and so I think it's great to have something like that in your repertoire of to go to, because it heartens you and it gives you hope that we're going through this real eye of the storm at the moment, all of us. I mean, who thought that 2020 would be the year of the lockdown, the year of the bringing yourself into isolation? You know, we're all so wanting community, wanting to build community, and this word social distancing, all these words social distancing, is incorrect, isn't it? It doesn't feel right to use social and distancing.
I had a conversation a couple of nights ago with a koala who is our Havasupai elder, and he's the one with the head feathers who many of you will have seen on our sofa with us when we did the film release. Every night we'd do a live Facebook Live afterwards on the sofa, and we had a koala with us who we flew over. And speaking with him the other night, he said, you know, they're such ugly words: isolate, lockdown, social distancing. And he said, I am in sacred seclusion. Sacred seclusion is lovely. It's time for reflection, time to just stop. I mean, so many people who just are on that hamster wheel, you know, even though they're working from home and it's hectic in a different way with homeschooling kids and et cetera, it is still time for reflection and just slowing down. And I think it's going to be hugely beneficial for people. I think people will really evaluate their lives and what they've been doing, you know, and also, you know, the value that we put on things, whether it be sacred or material, you know, doctors, nurses, carers. We realize in a time like this, even people stocking shelves at night, they're doing that so you can get your food tomorrow morning, you know. It's I really hope that gets reflected in time, in how they're remunerated and, you know, for their value.
I'm honoured. I'm always saying thank you to the people that are out there on the front line, the nurses and the key workers. It's like they're putting themselves out there all the time on behalf of the community, on behalf of the nations. It's just like,
it's selfless, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautiful, and thank them all the way through. This will never be forgotten. This will never be forgotten.
It's true. And community projects, I mean, all over the place. Down in our village, there's a community project of people who are stuck at home or isolating or elderly. I'm hopefully going to go on and do some phone calls each day with people who are elderly and maybe a bit worried, and just we can all lend our time in different ways. We've got the time now to do that.
Well, you say that, but I've been even busier. Sorry, I'm just going to throw that in because I was already, you know, I was a house sitter for 5 years and I've now been at home for like 7 months. And to actually have a home means I can pull everything together and get on with what I want to do. So for me, it's perfect because I'm not getting distracted by as much as I love going out and meeting people. It's like I've been wanting a home for so long and I've got the perfect setup here. And I'm like, yes, and I could just stay here for ages. But what is good is my sofa's over there, which means that I can go and lie down on it, which is one of my Qi bridging acts between being very busy and getting into my practice. And I think that with people who are used to going out to work, that time that they would have spent traveling can now be spent doing something more mindful. And my son, who's very busy cocktail barman and musician in Brighton, he was running all sorts of projects. In fact, he was due to do something in London tomorrow, a really big musical project. And he'd done all the rehearsing and everything, but it was causing so much stress that when it got let go, he said, I didn't realize how stressed I was until that got let go. And I'm like, oh, my body needs me to rest. So now I can manage. I can just do everything from where I am. And, you know, like he's now going to be doing his solo recording projects. I know people that are getting more into doing their musical projects. The lovely Sharon Rose, who's done the Quantum Chi movie, she's got some music coming through that she's been wanting to get going. And I know that you might even have a big writing project going on. Which
I do. When I finished doing marketing on this, I'm going to find some quiet time and finish my book, which I put down 2 years ago because it was just too many balls to juggle. My focus wasn't there. I'd written 16 chapters of a new book I'm writing called Filmmaking Guided by Spirit. And really that is what has happened all the way through the film. So it's sort of regurgitating like a video memoir of all the places we visited, but you get the story that you don't get in the film. And the stories and the lessons we learned and the elders we met. And so Filmmaking Guided by Spirit. I hope to have it finished by the end of the summer, but we'll see. It will come.
Well, it's already coming. You've already done 16 chapters.
Yeah.
And so the magic that has been around producing Time of the Sixth Sun must be huge because that's the nature of the content is magical and it's profound. So how you were led to interview certain people and what you were privy to and all of that is like, oh, it's going to be fascinating to
we didn't really have a shot list. We didn't have a list of speakers. As I met people or heard about people, if they came into my sphere or frame of reference, I would, on the second or third meeting or reading about them, I'd know that I was meant to go and ask them if they would interview with me. So everything has flowed like that. And even with things that weren't working out, you know, when I hit a brick wall, I kind of know the flow's not there, so I need to go a different way. And I think you can save yourself a lot of heartache by following that flow. And also the flow of the connection of spirit. And it's all done very quietly, but when we met with and interviewed Jeffrey Hoppy, our narrator, on the first time, I think it's episode number 8, where he brings in first Tobias, our narrator, and then he brings in the entity Adamus, who he now channels, or has been channeling for many, many, many years. And Adamus said, do you mind if I tweak with the internal bits on your cameras so they can receive the higher frequencies of information? So he fiddled around while he was talking to us. And then he reminded us that you have to ask for help from the angelic realms if you want it. And that there are a lot of editors and cinematographers who have now passed who would love to be involved to help. So when we were shooting, we would just quietly call in cinematographers, and the same with editing, the editor would do that. And you see the flow that you get. And also we did attend a lot of ceremonies with the elders. So my 2 workhorses, my cameras, I named them one who see and two who see. And they would always be in circle with everyone else. I'd ask for them to be smudged just like a person, because they really do have their own energy. They're inanimate objects, but they still have this energy. And the film itself is a living, breathing, organic being. And I've always treated it and respected it as such. So you'll hear in the film, it's quite quiet, but it's in those quiet moments, you hear it come in, and it's the breath. And when I interviewed Jeffrey Hoppe, and he gave me the narration, he agreed to narrate the story, or Tobias did. At the very end of the interview, I said, can you, just before we turn the microphones off, can you just do some really gentle breathing? Which he did. And I used one of those breathing tracks. So it's actually the breath of Tobias. And I've done it from the first frame to the last frame. So the film breathes, and you just notice it. But the interesting thing is, Tay and I would stand at the back of the hall when we were doing screenings, test screenings, and you can watch people's, when Tobias says, and breathe, you can just see people's shoulders just going, and they get into this rhythmic, every time they hear the breath, they start to link in with the breath again. So it's fantastic to join an audience together. Fascinating.
Oh, I love that piece
Yeah.
of Time of the Sixth Sun, magical disclosure for us here on Chi Time. Thank you. And we're going to play a track when this goes to audio of Jeffrey Hoppe and Estas Tonne. And so when you're watching the movie now, everyone, just sort of spot the breathing. I think that's really lovely, because that means that it's a healing energy as well. It's, you know, it's beautiful that you've got that running through it. And I think healing is one of the big things that we're needing at the moment. This whole holding up in your house, holding up at home, making sure you've got fresh this, that and the other, making sure you've got all the remedies that are going to keep you strong. And I know that, you know, I'm doing my Qigong, and I'm also doing my nutritional supplements. And is that something that you do as well?
Yep, I've been doing just powerful antivirals, all natural. So yes. And they're things I had in the house anyway. I had Lugol's iodine, highly antiviral. I think it's 12%. So I just do a few drops in water twice a day. Mm-hmm. And most people, I believe, are really deficient in iodine. So that's really important. I have a bottle of nano silver, which is a very powerful antiviral. And the way I use it is I have a nebulizer. I drink it each day, but I also have a nebulizer. And where you would normally put the water in the water tank, I put nano silver. And then it creates this, when you turn it on, it creates this mist. You can have a mask or a little spout, and you just breathe in. And so anything that's airborne in the lungs, it's going to go for that. So for me, I feel that's probably one of the most, for me personally, it's one of the most powerful things.
Yeah, I think that is really useful to think about, either something like that, or your essential oils that you can breathe in. You can diffuse them, the antivirals like the oregano or thyme or eucalyptus, rosemary, lavender, all of those. I'm looking at my little collection there. And there's that thieves mixture, or on guard, I think it's called, with doTERRA, that if you have that, if you have that running around your home, you're breathing that in all the time, just as I'm sure a lot of you are already doing this anyway, but it's reminding people that maybe don't use the fact that aromas or medicines can be also transported in the air as well. And I love the idea that we're actually giving something to the lungs first, so that we're building up the lung chi, because that helps to build your immunity, and we need that to be strong at the moment too. So that's all nourishment.
What I think with respiratory stuff, obviously, is the dairy. Watch the dairy. I take vitamin C, high dose vitamin C, so I just have it in powder form, and I'll put that in a little bit of water and apple juice several times a day. So maybe just getting 1,500, 2,000 per hit each time I do it. And just warm drinks, just keeping the lungs and the throat warm. Ginger, hot water and ginger. It's kind of all common sense things, really, isn't it?
What have you got a cup of tea on the go there? A cup of tea?
A cup of tea on the go, but I have a flask that I carry around with hot water and ginger in it, just to.
Yes, exactly. That is my day mix. I have various tea bags that I mix in a cocktail. Those of you that watch Chi Time regularly know this is what I do. And I think that one tea bag can last for a while, but I like to blend it with others, but certainly to bring in the the medicine with the herbs, you know, so it's not just for flavor, it's just that you're giving something back, and there's building yourself up instead of taking. And that's what's happening at this time. I think we're going inwards to be able to resource ourselves, not just to be able to cope with the virus that is coming around, but also to ward off anything and to make us stronger, because what we've got coming, you know, the whole change that it feels imminent is going to require us all to be as strong as we possibly can, and to encourage one another to be strong as well, and to hold each other's hands, which time the sixth sun is all about as well.
And then there's the internal medicine. I mean, a lot of people have mentioned it, but you know, negativity weakens the immune system, especially fear. So to look after your internal medicine, which is to turn off the TV, don't get sucked into the drama of everything. Just have a little mantra for yourself. I'm healthy, I'm vital, I am strong, whatever it is for you. But yeah, just not getting drawn into the drama. It is serious, but we knew this was coming. We know how to keep healthy. We've been collecting our tools for many years now, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
It's time to use them.
Exactly. And we have devised between us a little, well, you mainly, a time of the sixth sun affirmation and Qigong move. See, because when we use movement, you know, high level, high quality movement, specific Qi-led movement, when we're bringing in certain words, it really gets into the subconscious mind, and there's science that proves this. So when you do Qigong movements, it opens the right side of the brain, so it becomes more receptive to suggestibility. So it's taking your mantras one step further to bring in movement with them as well. So we've been playing with this, haven't we?
Yes, you're going to act out.
I'm going to demo.
I was saying, I don't really do Qigong, but I do a version of it, which I learned in Bali and practiced for quite a few years. So my model here is going to...
All right, I'm just going to have to unplug my mic, which might be interesting, because otherwise I won't be able to hear you. Okay. Not my mic, my headphone. Right, you talk.
Okay. So I'm just going to talk you through the energies of it at first. So it's calling in the nature spirits from each side, drawing the nature spirits up, all the way up, and connecting with the divine, with the source at the top, and then bringing it down through the crown, down the spine, down into the Tantien, and locking that in to the Tantien, and then putting it out, whether it's for healing or protection or whatever. Yeah.
Cool. Let's get right. So anybody want to join in with this? Yes.
So I'm going to do a little sixth sun affirmation.
Okay, I tell you what, Nikki, we need to explain to people that can't see this what we're doing. So could you do that?
Yeah, so second time around, so we are taking your hands out to the side, palms up and open, one hand and then the other, looking at your hand in each direction. You're bringing up the earth energies, and now you're bringing it slowly up, all the energies, bringing them up, 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 up to above the head, where your hands are in prayer and you're connecting with the divine, with spirit. And you're now going to bring it down through the crown, past the heart, and you're taking it right down to the Tantien, place in the belly. And you're going to lock it in, locking that energy in that you've collected from spirit, from the earth energies. And then you have a bank of energy to put out, whether that's intention of healing or protecting yourself. That energy is there to use, to send from the Tantien through the hands and out.
So just to add to that, so it's beautiful what you were saying, but when we bring the hands down to the heart, the palms are together.
Yeah.
And then they open slightly forwards, and then the elbows draw back, and the fingers curl over, and you draw the hands into the waist as if you're drawing that powerful energy in, sinking in with that. And that, as you so rightly say, is the store that you then turn and then are able to emit as your hands turn, palms face forward, and you push that beautiful time of the sixth sun energy out in to connect with one another and into the world. And then we're going to finish with the palms coming down to a little triangle at Dantian. Okay, so I'm going to do the movements and you're going to do the words.
Yep. So I call on the strength of the divine collective that I may face fears and rise connected to the hearts and souls of our rainbow tribe. Join us in sharing the sixth sun vibe. Should we do it one more time?
I love this so much. Thank you. Thank you.
I call on the strength of the divine collective that I may face fears and rise connected to the hearts and souls of our rainbow tribe. Join us in sharing the sixth sun vibe. Lovely.
Oh, beautiful.
I'm sure you can put that up somewhere for your viewers, the words.
I so will. I so will. Thank you.
Yay, we did
that was
it.
a bit of a, yeah, we did it. Yay. Excellent. So as we're nearing the end of the this interview anyway, I would love you to come and do another one. There's another, we're always very welcome on the show whenever you want. Really, really, really. And there is another connection that we have now. I went to visit Nikki Luna back before Christmas, back when I had a car. I don't have a car anymore. Oh well, I don't need one right now, right? Anybody got a spare car? Let's move on. Anyway, but I did.
Let's put that out there. A beautiful car that is going to carry you safely on your journey is required by this beautiful lady.
It is indeed. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
But we met up and we actually did an informal chat on the sofa that's also on my YouTube channel, Clara Polly's Chi Time. And while I was there, you had a call from Bart, our dear friend Bart from Bright Sky. And I'm like, what's going on? And she said, oh, well, I've been chatting to Bart and he's offered for me to become an ambassador of Bright Sky. I'm like, great, excellent. So what is it about Bright Sky that floats your boat, Nikki Luna?
I just felt so deeply honoured. We just started with a chat and then we spoke a few days later and he'd been contemplating it. And he offered for me to be an ambassador. And I take that really on board. And I will be, when they launch in a few weeks, hopefully, I will be sharing that with our entire group. But what attracted me to it was, I think the first thing was seeing who some of the ambassadors and some of the founder members are. There were people that I knew and hold in really high esteem. So obviously like Matt McCartney, Steve Noble from Alternatives in St. James, who does some great projects, and Yakov Darling Khan.
Who by Yakov is on the next Chi Time next Monday, 2:30. He'll be here. Yeah, his new book Shaman's coming out tomorrow, I think. But yeah, an amazing array of people. I could see why you were attracted by that tribe. It's already going on, isn't it?
Yeah, and it is my tribe. I'm so happy to be on board, and I'm really wishing it every success when it launches, because there's space for a platform like that, an alternative healing hub that I believe first of all is going to reach out in the UK and then to other countries and eventually worldwide. And I think it's fabulous. Lots of good energy behind it. And, you know, it's like in a film, when you have a director, it's really the energy of the director and the producer that carries on down through the crew. If you've got someone who's grumpy, you're not going to be a happy crew. If you feed everyone well and, you know, respect your crew, they're going to work hard for you. And you see that end result on the screen, you know. So I think it's the same with Bart, such a beautiful soul at the head of that. Well, he's a founder member. Yeah, it's going to carry on down. Of course it is. Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh,
wish it good juju.
Yeah. So Bright Sky community, No, Bright Sky dot community. And I'm just going to pick you up on that point that you made. When the director is happy, everything else that's connected with them
Well, at
is
the
also
top of the tree
comes through.
of
Yes,
anything in any business.
that's what I was going to say. So if we take that analogy to you, when you're listening, when you're in your family, that how you take care of yourself is going to ripple out to your family and your friends. And it's massive at the moment how we take care of ourselves. And you know, I ramble on about Qigong, but honestly, I don't know where I'd be without it. I don't even want to think about where I'd be without my non-negotiable daily practice. And my goodness, I've had to battle with myself to get there in a nice way, in a kind way, and a kind of, come on, you know you want to, you know it's going to benefit you. And it does, it ripples out. And I mean, I can only really highly recommend everybody doing some form of personal practice every day. I mean, our minds need to defrag, so something that's going to help us come out of busy, come out of worry, come out of fear and anxiety, and come into your true self.
Yeah, and it might not be Tai Chi for some people. It's just going to be your daily practice, whatever that is. It could be sitting on the loo, having 10 minutes of quiet time. It could be. It's just taking that time for yourself to be reflective, to go within, just to get that calming influence into your life. So whether it's that or singing or walking meditation, it's important for sure.
Oh, dancing. I mean, we've got a fantastic track that we're going to play on the end of the audio show, the podcast. So that's Clara Apollo's Chi Time on iTunes, Spotify and Google Play. But also it'll be going out live on UK Health Radio Network as from this Thursday. And do talk to us a little bit about Estas Tonne, would you please?
He's a dream boy. He's a total brother, and I met him back in 2010. I had no idea I was even looking for a protagonist of the film, but I went to a gig where I witnessed him enchant everyone that night in that room, men and women alike. It was total enchantment. And he is an extraordinary character with an incredible life story. And so we met the next day, and it fell out of my mouth. We were having lunch, and I said, would you be our protagonist? And he said, in the middle of his meal, he said, I have to go for a walk and think about it. And he came back 10 minutes later and said that he would. So that's where we started to weave him into our story. And it is his real life story, actually. He was a street busker when we met him, and slowly we see him emerge as this extraordinary musician. If no one's seen Cuban dance, put it into YouTube, his latest video. He's such a talent, and I feel really blessed for him to have joined us in the film.
And we played Time of Remembering at the beginning of the show, and we're going to go into Transformation. That is on this album that's to do with Time of the Sixth Sun. So this is the fifth track, because it's time, because that's actually what's happening. We are all in transformation here, or transition into a whole new, the new normal is going to be nothing like the old normal. You know, we actually don't know how all this is going to land, but just to trust that we are on the path that we're meant to be on.
I mean, I hear a lot of people saying when we get back to normal, but we don't want to go back to normal. This is the shift, and we're moving into something different, a new way to live more lovingly, respectfully with our fellow brothers and sisters. It's just going to look very different, and you're right, we don't know where it's going to land, but we need to be dreaming that now. Actually, what sort of world do I want to live in? How do I want my kids to be educated? Do I want them to be vaccinated? Does the health service serve us all? They do an amazing job, but do we want to see more alternative medicine or tribal medicine? You know, Aboriginal healers that we met out in Australia, they're phenomenal. They are phenomenal, the work they do. It's ancient and it works. So lots of changes. Let's see where it falls. Let's see what we can dream up between us, because really where we've come to is what we've collectively created, you know.
So it's unwinding fear, anxiety and stress, because that stops us from being so cognizant and connection to spirit, which is where our wisdom is really, and that ingenuity and that creativity of source is we're spiritual beings having human experience. So it's really important to do what we can to disengage from that. Hence why you said don't tune into TV. And newspapers are boring right now. They're just on it the whole time. They've actually got the same thing going on and on, and we're getting bored of it. We want to
24 hours a day coronavirus. I mean, it is, I know I'm saying that, and that's pertinent for this time, and it will pass. Just to say, to know that everything is in divine order. That's what I'd say to people. Even if we suddenly had a blackout for 10 days or something, and no internet, no TV, it doesn't matter. Get out some of those books that you've been wanting to read on your bookshelf, or get creative. It doesn't matter. It will pass. It's not what we do, it's how we do it. So we need to hold that space for everyone. If you're able to do it, hold that space.
Yeah.
Don't go into the fear.
And be with the reset. And I love that we're all dreaming this new earth in now. We can do it all together. Right now, it's exciting. Oh, Nikki Luna, thank you so much for being part of Chi Time again.
Thank you. Can I just a couple of words to finish?
What would you like to say?
Press on people that you can really help us, especially in this time, telling people about the film. Put a review on our page. It's called a love wall, where you can put your experience of watching the film, your testimonial, and just send it out to friends, to family. The more people who receive it and get to go on and have a look at it, that helps us to be able to put it out further. We translated it into 24 languages, which was no mean feat and no cheap feat either. So, we want to be able to go into those countries and translate, but also to say that watching the movie, you can do that for under $5, and the digital package is great value now, and there's so much in it. This time now, you actually have the space and the time to watch all the episodes. The only way you can watch the episodes right now is on the digital package, and people have loved them. Absolutely raved about the episodes. So
I'm one of them.
Extended interviews.
Super. So that's timeofthesixthsunmovie.com.
timeofthesixthsunmovie.com.
Beautiful. And of course the
lovely site. It's really simple to use.
Yeah, and the Facebook page to get in with the tribe there and chat to people. And
I'm going to give it to you so you can put it up on your screen or your site. But if you put into Facebook Time of the Sixth Sun group, or movie group, it will come up, and you have to join. We'll accept you as you apply to join.
Brilliant. Thank you for all you've done and all you're doing, sweetheart. Really appreciate you.
Well, it's an honor. It's totally being in service, and I'm loving it. Beautiful. And loving our group, really loving our group. They're they're just a really beautiful crowd. There's an elevated conversation going on, lots of people connecting and forming friendships, but there's something very positive about it. And if a troll or someone comes on being negative, everyone just piles on them and love bombs them.
That's the way. With the love, get it on.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, my dear mate.
Thank you so much, Clara, and we will speak again.
Indeed we will. Much love. Take care.
The old systems on Earth are beginning to dissolve. Governments, financial systems, religions, science, psychology, technology. As the old systems dissolve, they rejoice for the new systems coming in.